Hey David, welcome. Yeah, we're gonna get up to some fun stuff today. Work our way through the Blighted Village. Gonna have some interesting combat fights, and then we'll go quickly stock up on stuff in the Blighted Village before we head out to the Sunlit Wetlands. We need to make sure we're all stocked up on stuff before we head down that way, because that's going to be the last source of some potions for us for a while, so I want to make sure we're stocked up before we do it. Lord Henry, welcome to the stream. Yeah, there's been a lot of experimenting. One thing that I did experiment with, I did learn has been patched out. Was trying to do it, but realized I can't. So kind of threw that one to the side, but there are a couple other things that we've got planned here coming up that might surprise a few people. After all the nat 20s we rolled on Wednesday, I'm not entirely sure today's going to be a good day. But we'll see. As they say on a very popular streaming show, may the dice be ever in your favor. But yeah, I do have a feeling that the Will Wheaton dice curse is going to roll up and bite me pretty hard today, so I'm sure y'all will get a bunch of amusement out of it. Yeah, I think I'm going to need one after the stream today. Although I haven't had a beer in years, that actually sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, and it does provide good entertainment for the most part. And at the end of the day, I do realize that it is just a video game. It's not like, you know, the world hinges upon what happens in this thing, but yeah, it is, in the moment, it is certainly both, well, I guess, in the moment it does range from funny to intriguing to thought-provoking, all the way down to anguish-filled and anxiety-laden. I don't think I've ever really gotten completely angry at this game while I'm playing it. Not like the first time that or not the first time, but when I played Dark Souls the first time and got so angry I just quit and never purchased another one of them, ever. I mean, the Dark Souls franchise is, and again, my experience is fairly limited, but I have watched a lot of it, and I've read, you know, a bunch of the reviews and that sort of stuff as sequels have been released and all that sort of stuff. Dark Souls has always been a combination of great RPG and loot exploration, combined with, in my opinion, is the most extraordinarily frustrating boss combat ever invented. And that's simply because when you get to the bosses, it is no longer about strategy or planning or even gear for that part. It is about how well you can reflexively hit the correct buttons at the correct time based upon the attacks that the boss is going to do. And if you don't, you sometimes just get one shot and you got to start it over again. and that memorizing button pushes in response to stuff that characters on the screen does takes me back to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. When you had to watch for Mike Tyson's eyes blinking twice or 3 times to know what type of punch he was going to throw. and nothing was more frustrating back in the day than that. Sitting there having to do those fights 15 times till you learn the trick of it. And yeah, David, that's exactly kind of my thought now. When I was a kid, I was able to sit through that and suffer through it until I got it right. And the thrill of beating it that first time made up for all of the frustration I went through. But I can't do that. I refuse to do it now, I guess, is a better way to say it. I don't need that amount of anger and frustration out of my games. That's not why I play video games. And yeah, those series have all been that way for me. The more I look at gameplay of the sequels and that sort of stuff, yeah, Like, I mean, Elden Ring is another perfect example of that. It's, you know, extraordinarily popular, beautiful game. But again, all of the boss combat is nothing more than twitch reflex skills. It's like a twitch twitch muscle test. So yeah, that doesn't interest me. Yeah. Yeah, good old Mike Tyson's Punch Out, man. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 5 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So nothing in the way of admin notes today. So we will jump into our recap. So last week we had begun exploring through the Blighted Village. We had taken care of the goblin ambush. We had ambushed some other patrolling goblins and sentry goblins. Today we're going to get into the main meat of the combats here in the Blighted Village. We are not going to go into the Whispering Depths today. We are going to be focused more on the other areas and the outside areas. But what we might be able to do today is head out to the Sunlit Wetlands. We need to make sure we're entirely stocked up on elixirs of hill giant strength before we go do that, because Auntie Ethel will no longer be available as a vendor once we move out there. So we're gonna go see what we can do today, and we'll go ahead and jump right in here and start off immediately with a fight. But I think you'll see that this really isn't a fight. But who knows? Things could go drastically wrong. Okay, so I do want to look. So we're level 3, 484 XP away from level 4.
Careful, I bite.
Okay. I could make this fight quicker by waiting. So I think we actually will wait on that. We're going to head back up here. We need to do a little searching on Tracker Slice here. I believe we've searched all of this stuff out here. We'll just quickly look. Yes. Okay, so let's head out here. And take stock of where we are. So, the southwestern part, this is where the ogres are. And we're definitely going to be doing that. This is where Fezzerk and Wulbren are, where he's strung up on the windmill. Up here is where we are going to interrupt an encounter that a bugbear and an ogre are having. But let's also go
Better not be cursed.
first. Okay, so we have explored everything down here. Let's go look in the Apothecary shop. Okay, and we need to get all of this searching done in here. So let's go ahead and get all of this knocked out first. And Up Lae'zel needs to be the person doing this.
Breeds madness.
And then we will head downstairs, grab enough XP that we're going to be able to get a quick level up done. And then
Without delay,
we will have a fight. We will obviously have a fight while we're underneath the Apothecary shop here. But we're just going to go through and pick all this up here real quick.
this will do.
Okay, now inside the Apothecary shop, it's kind of best to go through this systematically, so I kind of start on one side and either do it clockwise or counterclockwise. Because there's a lot of stuff that we can pick up in here. Crafting supplies, all sorts of other stuff that we're going to end up selling. And again, on honor mode,
Ugh, that reeks.
I end up picking up everything.
Still
I don't
in
think I've ever
control.
clicked on that cauldron
Just.
before.
What's next, I wonder?
To get that medicine check.
Reeks of mugwort. Tastes terrible, but makes some useful potions.
Interesting. Like I say, don't think I've ever clicked on that before. Over 1,000 hours of stuff, and I
It says there's a cellar
never
here
picked it
somewhere.
up. So that journal starts the quest for, or updates the quest for Search the Cellar. And that is definitely what we're going to go do here. And this, again, bugs me. The whole having to run around 5 different ways to pick something up thing.
Eager for battle. One true way.
Hey, don't forget the potion of sleep here. Okay, so we don't need to pick up the cauldron. There you can see the ogres. And we could certainly do that fight right now. It would not be a problem at all. It's just going to go faster if we wait until level 4 and we pick up our first feat. And since we're gonna have to do this other combat anyway, might as well just wait and get it all knocked out. Okay, so I think that is everything that we can pick up here. So let's head down into the wooden hatch here. And again, starting here, we're just going to pick a point and start searching this systematically. It's a little harder with Lae'zel down here because she doesn't have she doesn't have dark vision. There's going to be lots of camp supplies and rotten food down here. There's also going to be a bunch of crafting ingredients, as you would expect.
Repositioning.
Okay, and just we're kind of working our way through here. Yeah, not the most exciting gameplay, but you're going to be surprised how much gold you pick up from these seemingly inconsequential items. It's really easy just to click take all when you open up a chest and that sort of stuff. And then when you're done and you go sell it, you're shocked.
What's that?
Okay, so we passed a perception check. We'll come back to that here in a second.
Open up.
Okay, don't forget to take the paintings. And our perception check was to highlight this lever back here. It's going to open up the secret passage back here, and we're going to go explore that here in a minute. As soon as we finish searching the rest of this. Okay, the healer's log here. Lets you know what balsam ointment is for, which leads into a question that you're going to be asked about here in a little bit. So reading it will give you an additional dialogue option. Okay, and just some more crafting supplies. And again, we're going to be focused a lot more on crafting supplies this playthrough than we have been in the past. They are so much more important in an honor mode playthrough. For a couple of reasons. One, you're going to be focused on potions and elixirs and poisons and coatings for your weapons and all that sort of stuff a lot more in honor mode than you are in other modes, just because every point of damage can be the difference between a successful combat and your honor mode going into custom mode and not being able to get your golden dice. So getting the ability to replenish those potions and elixirs on our own means that we don't have to buy them. And that's the other reason that you focus on them more in honor mode, is because gold is so much more needed in an honor mode playthrough than in other playthroughs. That's because everything is twice as expensive as in balanced mode. So everything that you want to buy from a vendor, you might not be able to buy. And you may have to now start prioritizing items that you want to buy and things like that. So now we're going to kind of bring everybody up here. We're going to put everybody into hiding.
Shadows.
We're going to break our group.
Think about why my eye is itching. A knife in the dark. What path lies before me?
We're going to head in here. Okay, now, in this room, we've seen from other playthroughs what it is. These caskets have skeletons in them, and if you go open them up, you can be subjected to a surprise round when they come out. So, and then what will happen is one will come out, and if you fail to kill it in one round, it will run over to another casket and free that one before coming back to attack you. And then that one that you freed will go over and free another one, etc., etc., and you can very quickly get overwhelmed while you're not really prepared for it. We're going to prepare for it.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
And the way we're going to do that is first by clearing all of these things out that we want to be able to pick up or sell or anything like that later. And that's because there's a good chance that a lot of this is going to be damaged and or broken and disappear entirely once you've done what we're going to do. So I'm going to do all of my searching in here with the exception of one thing. There's one thing I'm not going to search.
Looks empty.
Okay, so get these last crates here. And then we're going to talk to the mirror, and we are going to intentionally fail this.
Speak your name. I do not know this name. If you are known to my master, step forward and declare yourself an ally. Only a true ally of Ilintoth may pass. What think you of the Zolkir known as Zastan?
Okay, so we failed our history check here, and we're going to intentionally fail this.
A poor choice. You will be purged.
And we're immediately going to take off running. And once we get over here a ways, we can go into hiding.
Should mind my step.
And you will see what's happening here is that the flaming sphere is going around and it is breaking almost all of the caskets in here. And in doing so, it is bringing the skeletons out. Now, it's on honor mode, it's going to be very rare that any of them actually die. They have too many hit points for this thing to kill it. On balanced mode, however, it may be able to even kill one or two of the skeletons. And then it's going to head back into the mirror. So this does a couple of things. One, it brings all the skeletons out into view so that you know where they are. And two, it spreads them out. They are kind of distributed all around this area, including even up here. And that means that it's going to take them longer to get to us. And individually, we may be able to take them out more one at a time.
My patience wanes. Maybe I should stay crouched forever. Breathe
and
deep
not have to deal with them all as a group. And to do that, we're going to, of course, start this off with Astarion here. That one's in a bad spot. He stopped in a bad location because I don't know if I can hit him. I can. Okay. So, a couple of things about stealth combat if you're not aware. First is when you get a hit from hiding, you have to pass a stealth check. If you pass that stealth check and you stay in hiding, you can continue to keep shooting. Right? So, rather than clicking over it, rather than clicking here and then clicking your target, click on your crossbow once and then hold control on keyboard. It will bring up a location for where that arrow is going to land, and you can aim anywhere you want with it. And now if you hold control and you start attacking, if you pass the stealth check, just keep hitting your mouse button and keep attacking over and over and over again until you actually get dropped into combat. All right? Now, examining undead, you can see they're immune to poison. They're vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, however, so we're going to take that into account. But for now, let's just start off here with a sneak attack, and then we're going to follow it up with just attack after attack until we get brought into combat. We may fail the first stealth check and be immediately brought into combat, but if we can get off more than one attack, that's just a good Nova burst to start out with. Okay, so he's healing. We're trying to outburst his healing, actually. And he hasn't found us. Okay, just like that.
Let's keep to the shadows.
Okay, so a lot of times when you're on the very outskirts of being able to see an enemy, sometimes they won't even react to you when you do something like this. I'm just going to move up till I have a decent to hit chance, and I'm going to do the same thing again and see if they react to me or not. Getting bad to hits here. Okay.
On the hunt.
And this is a trick that I first learned from watching Evelyn's YouTube channel. You can go search for her videos and check her out. She has a stealth archer build that she has on her YouTube channel, where she explains this entire methodology and how it works. I'm nowhere near being able to max out this build right now, but this is an illustration of how the mechanics of that build work. I'm just, like I say, not at the point where that build really comes online, but I am able to illustrate it fairly well how the mechanics of it work. Okay, so that time I was brought into combat. Okay. Normally you are still going to get a surprise round here out of it. I have Assassinate Initiative triggered. So perfect. So now I'm going to kind of get myself into range here, and I'm going to check and see what my range is. Yeah, it is Lord Henry, and that's why she mentions it for solo runs. Ah, didn't even see that one down there. Okay, so I am still invisible for one more turn. Didn't want that to happen. Now I'm gonna dash and make my way back here. Not gonna go too far. These two, a lot of times, at least one of them will stay up there on top and won't even come down. Yeah, just like that. Both of the ones that are down below will continue to dash towards you. And the robust guardian's obviously going to come towards you. Oh, forgot about Bone Chill. Okay, now here I'm going to want to be careful because I'm going to be in range of the ranged attackers here. I am still... Am I going to be able to get around that corner? I doubt it. So, yeah, I might be able to get out of... No, I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of view. I'm kind of looking at my path to see if they're going to have to dash or not. So I think I'm going to just make a regular attack here. I would go into hiding and then get sneak attack damage on the robust guardian, but that means I wouldn't be able to dash. And I need to be able to dash to get out of sight here of the two ranged guardians. Okay, so now here... Pretty sure I can do it. Let me just open up a spot here. And... going to swap Lae'zel out for a Great Club. And that's simply because being vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, she's going to do more damage with that than she will with the Everburn Blade. Okay. Not my encumbrance.
My time in the shadows.
I need to concentrate. Need to press onward.
Okay. So Astarion here should be able to make way into here. Yes. So I can hide first.
Let's find some prey.
Get sneak attack. Oh, hello. And now I will make my way into here. Now they're going to dash, and they're going to be able to dash all the way in here. Remember, Astarion's invisible right now. Here's the hide mechanic. Okay, so now with him being taken completely out of combat, that resets the encounter.
Stepping softly.
And now I'm able to do that whole thing all over again. So this is one of the benefits of having cunning action hide and or the Deathstalker mantle, and that going invisible and not being in sight anymore means that you can very often reset a combat encounter and start it all over again and get all of the first attack advantages, that first round advantage that you can. This works really well with Gloomstalker Ranger, where you have Dread Ambusher ranged attacks as well. You can just keep resetting the combat, going back into that first round, and getting Nova Burst damage on targets. Like for him to just continue to hit here. That 60% is going badly. I'm hoping I'm getting rid of all the nat ones during all of this.
Radio not. Not a sound.
Okay, so now we're immediately going to get another surprise round. So for here, I'm going to go into hiding again.
A subtle approach.
So I can get sneak attack damage. Perfect. Now I'm invisible.
On my way.
I'm just going to go into hiding here. And combat's reset.
The element of surprise.
Okay, so again, rinse and repeat, go hide.
On the hunt.
Get sneak attack. And that ends that. And that, the Deathstalker mantle is just so good. It's just hard to
Time for discretion.
overstate how useful it is as an item. And I don't want to walk all the way
What's
in
next?
there. Especially for honor mode runs.
Have to keep.
I'm so tired. How do people do this all day?
What's that?
Okay, there's the dirt mound. And we will get some
Anything of use?
searching done
Blackets will be done.
while we're here.
Open up.
And you can see all the caskets are broken except for one. That's exactly right. Yeah, if you go look at that build, if you go look at her build, it's based around Gloomstalker Assassin, and it is based around the Titan String Bow, which allows you to add your strength bonus to your damage. And then the thing that really makes it stand out is that what a lot of people don't realize is that when you use a special arrow, for instance,
Close.
why did the Everburn blade go in there? A special arrow when it will do additional damage, like an arrow of fire. If you're using the Titan String bow, you will trigger your strength modifier as bonus damage on the initial 1d8 piercing damage. You will also trigger it again when it tries to apply the 2d4 fire damage. So if you have multiple sources of damage on your bow, like your Titan String bow also being an elemental weapon from the Drake Throat Glaive, or something like that, where it's doing additional damage, like you put cold damage on it, then you would get the initial piercing damage from the bow plus your strength modifier, the fire damage from the arrow plus your strength modifier, and the cold damage on the bow plus your strength modifier again. So that's what makes the Titan String bow do stupid amounts of damage, like, 60 points of damage in a single hit, and that sort of stuff, is because of the damage stacking capability that it has.
Live in more interesting times.
So let's get our weapons back where they were here.
What now?
Going to change Astarion to a longbow just because I like the look of it better. Put Watcher's Guide back. And the Everburn Blade. Okay, so we will continue doing our searching around here. Pick up a few more random weapons and pieces of armor.
Repositioning.
Then we can search the Moldering Casket here. And this has some supplies in it, but it has the Scroll of Summon Quasit. This is a special scroll that Gale can actually scribe into his spellbook. So you don't want to miss out on it. You don't want to forget it's down here. I think there's an incense pot down here I want to pick up, yes. Now I'm going to make my way up here and search these two, and we'll go interact with the mirror.
No one stopped me yet. Don't waste a step.
Okay, and this is why you want to make sure you've picked up items from the crates and that sort of stuff, is because the fire damage will break the crates, and then if it goes over top and explodes again, it may destroy the items that were in there. So now we'll interact with the mirror.
Here?
You are not my master. If you are his ally, step forward and declare it. Only a true ally of Ilintoth may pass. What think you of the Zolkir known as Zastan?
The solution to this is in a journal inside the Whispering Depths. The game intends you to kind of go into the Whispering Depths first. Even if you don't deal with the Facespider Matriarch, you will find a body down there that has a journal on it, and that body is one of the owner's apprentices, and it will talk about how he fled from Thay, and you learn about who Zastam was. But if you pass the history check, it will let you know that Zastam was a lich, and that will let you know that this is the right answer.
You are no Zolkir, but are you wise? Tell me, why might one use balsam ointment?
Since we read the journal upstairs, we know the answer to this. If you're a ranger, you will also have a ranger option down here to do the same thing.
Acceptable. Finally. If you could see anything in me, what would it be?
And this is again from the journal where you looked at he fled into this area to try and gain power over death. And that's what you're trying to do here.
You seek to survive. You seek power. Be welcome.
Okay, and we're 369 away. We have a couple of more inspirations we'll be able to get inside of here, which is going to take us up even more. And we're just going to go through and quickly search this. There's going to be a lot of crafting supplies down here. Okay, we'll go into this room, and when you get in here, make sure you hold left alt to see the rusted key. It's really hard to see in here. And we'll just quickly pick up everything here on the shelf. More crafting supplies, more poisons, which we are going to be utilizing a lot more in this playthrough than we have in the past. Okay, we'll move in here and move around the corner. And we'll just pick up the items here on the table.
Found and taken.
Okay, now around the corner here, there is an antidote up here. Don't forget to grab it. Okay, and the last couple of things. Here's the bracers of defense. So you gain +2 bonus to armor class as long as you are not wearing armor or holding a shield. So again, for your two-handed unarmored defense barbarians and your monk classes, it's a great early game way to gain a flat +2 armor class to any of your builds. And next we're going to go up, and we're going to see that come into play here in a little bit, just not until we get past this, the Blighted Village. Once we do our first respec, you will see that come into play more. So here we'll do this last set of pickups. And then we're going to go deal with this. So we're going to split our group.
This way. Looks like a trap.
So she found it, and Astarion.
One step at a time.
There's no time to waste.
Actually, Astarion
Keep
can
your
do that.
distance, darling.
can disarm this trap. Attempt to disarm this trap. Okay, and then before we go in there, we are going to take this wooden bowl. It doesn't have to be the bowl, it can be anything. That tends to be the one that I use, though. The rusted iron gate is what the rusted key is for. He failed to perceive the two gargoyles, which are the traps here, but as always, you can see the Necromancy of Thay book is on here. We're going to open up Astarion's inventory, and we're going to have him drop the bowl on the table. Pull our standard Indiana Jones trick. If you haven't seen this from any of my others, you can put the bowl on top of the marble plate. So you move it until you can see the icon for marble plate. Now that it's sitting on top of the marble plate, we can pick up the Necromancy of Thay and not trigger the book, or not trigger the trap. Okay, now we're going to delay the Necromancy of Thay. We're going to put that on Shadowheart, but we're not going to deal with it right now.
Never a dull
Okay, and
moment.
that finishes up everything down here in
Light on my feet.
the Apothecary basement. So we're going to head back up. Where are we? 369, so I know we can get another 190.
What am I to do?
And I'm going to swap that necklace here.
Breathe deep and move.
Going to put everybody in hiding and split the group.
If not over, then through.
And I'm going to head up here. And we're going to have an interaction with some goblins. I'm going to talk to Fezzerk.
Look what we got here. Another little birdie wanting to fly. Stop this thing! Flap those wings some more, and I'll feed you a worm. And you. Hope you got a stomach for heights.
So I'm going to really date myself with this reference, but Jane, stop this crazy thing. Is what I'm always reminded of when I see that cutscene with Wulbren hanging up there saying, stop this thing. Those of you who are old will know what that is.
What's it bloody look like? We're teaching this here pipsqueak to fly. You want this little cave lurking WotC? Find your own. He's ours!
The mark glows, but you feel nothing in
Oh, I
response.
forgot about that.
Your illithid power is beyond reach until you rest.
I wanted to use this as the next illithid power, and I just forgot about it. I shouldn't have done that. I have a perception check, or a persuasion check here I can make. I'm going to have to make 2 of them. Yes, David, it is the Jetsons.
I reckon we could do better than this run, eh? We're leaving.
What about the gnome? Ain't we supposed to bring him to...
I said we're leaving! There's plenty of sport and rich pickings out there for us. Move it!
We're going to meet Fezzerk later. You get an inspiration for that. You get 30 XP for the inspiration. But then also, if you look at your combat log, you gained 190 experience. That is exactly the amount of experience that you get for killing everything up here. You get 50 XP for Fezzerk, and you get 20 XP for the other 7 enemies that are up here. So 7 times 20 is 140 plus 50 is 190. That's exactly what you get out of this. So there's no real reason to fight this. Now you can fight that or have that encounter, and then when they're trying to run away, you can attack them and start combat again. However, what I will say is that at level 3, this combat can be interesting. The Booyogs tend to cast Bless, which means that they're going to hit you a lot. Not the Booyogs, the Devouts cast Bless, which means they hit you quite a bit. Fezzerk also has a multi-attack that he can do, and he can do a lot of damage because he's got the very heavy Great Axe on him, which is a weapon that can daze you when it hits. So the combat is not necessarily easy at level 3. So if you want to handle it or you want to take it on, feel free to. But from an experience point reasoning, there's absolutely no reason to do it.
Let's see what this does. Just another.
And it does, like I say, lead you into something else later, because you are going to get to see Fezzerk again.
Don't touch me. Let's move.
Okay, so I've already searched these, I believe.
What's in here?
Yes.
I have such a headache.
Okay, so we're gonna head up here
Ahead.
and deal with Wulbren. Do have another item we can just pick up off the ground here.
Shadowheart's attention is fixed on a damaged old statue.
We should keep moving. You already know as much as I do. Best ignore it. As long as it doesn't hamper us too much.
You only get that interaction if Shadowheart is in your party, and that's because this is a broken statue of Selûne. So this is now bringing up her mark again on her hand. And kind of continuation of that storyline, and this needs to be removed from wares and sent to camp. This can get moved over here, and we're going to clean up Up Lae'zel's inventory as soon as we finish all of this stuff here. So I'm going to break my group and head upstairs. And sitting on the ground up here are a few things that we can pick up. Then down here, the Dark Urge wants you to release the brake, but we're going to actually hit the brake lever here. And we'll go talk to Wulbren.
I have something to ask.
Cut me loose!
Doesn't matter if you extort him there or later, he gives you the same amount of stuff.
Bag of Cabara. There's pustulant thugs. Well, get on with it. You saved me, now you'll extort me. That's how this works, yes?
And it doesn't matter if you extort him or not. The extortion gets you the same thing as freeing him does. So it doesn't matter what you do.
Nothing? My own fault, really. I should have dropped my pack and outrun those bastards. Alas. Take my pack, if you can find it. The only reason those goblins caught me was its weight. I'll travel lightly from now on. Ignorance is alive and well, it seems. Deep gnomes aren't restricted to the Underdark, you know. I've lived in Baldur's Gate for years. I'm in search of a friend. I fear he's in trouble. See this? I gave it to him years ago before I left home. I found it around the neck of a thug in the lower city. It was speckled with blood. My friend, nowhere to be found. But I still have hope. I have reason to believe he's in the Underdark. Hopefully, I'll pick up his trail from there. I always help my friends. On that note, I bid thee farewell. If we should meet again, well, we will have met again.
And we got another 45 XP out of that. And we know by now that Wulbren's friend is not in the Underdark. We won't see him for a while. We're going to head down in the wooden hatch here. And we're definitely going to break our group. Okay, so it's not
Action
this
meets
one.
Reaction.
It's the one that I already did. So the heavy chest here is not trapped, and you get the speedy light feat. So when the wearer dashes or takes a similar action, they gain lightning charges. Lightning charges is another one of those things that give you a status effect that when it builds up over time, you can utilize that status effect for something. And then at some point in the past, Larian got around to renaming this backpack. There was a lot of controversy for a while about which backpack Wulbren's backpack was. Was it this one, or was it the one over that we're going to see here in a little bit that is out kind of on a ledge by itself? They renamed this one to be the heavy backpack, so you know that this is actually the backpack that Wulbren was talking about. The fact that it has a smoke powder satchel in it is also a clue. But yes, that is the backpack that is Wulbren's reward to you for either freeing him or extorting him. Whichever one you do, you get the same thing. Okay, and you can move the shattered wine barrel, by the way, but there's nothing underneath it or around it.
Pull yourself together.
Nothing else to find.
Here goes nothing.
So where are we? We're not going to make it.
Pave my path with corpses. Build my castle with bones.
So we've searched everything up here. So we'll head here around this corner. We'll start making our way out here.
Indolence breeds madness. Objective noted.
And we have searched all of this here before.
Curious.
Okay, and the first thing we definitely want to make sure we do is head over this way. There's a mysterious hole over here that you do not want to miss, because it has the Curious Book in it. Curious Book has a camp supply in it, so if somebody's hiding some wine in a book. But this book is also a container, and it's a very lore-friendly way of storing your scrolls and that sort of stuff in it. Just like I use pouches to store my potions and that sort of stuff in it. That's just a very convenient, lore-friendly way to store some items. I wish that we had quivers in this game, so that we could store our arrows.
Nothing hurts anymore.
But unfortunately, that was never implemented by Larian, even though it was one of the top requested things on the forums under quality of life. Okay, so there's the dirt mound. And this is where I expected to meet Raphael. And what you can do is, like I said previously, if you haven't encountered him yet, you can leave the rest of your party back here. You can run up here, trigger the conversation with Raphael, and then have one of your other party members attack Raphael with a ranged attack. And that will trigger him to appear at your camp when you use the mountain pass from either the Goblin camp or through the Githyanki patrol. He'll appear at your camp, and when he's at your camp, you can attack him at leisure, and you kind of see a different way to get the Helldusk armor right off the bat. So we can hear the sound effects happening now. We're going to head around the corner, and we're going to be a little careful about this, because the detection cones can sometimes be a little weird up here. Okay, so I'm going to move everybody kind of back here into this corner. I'm going to break my group again.
I'm just waiting.
Now I can swap this back to Astarion. And we're going to deal with the roasted meat and the dagger here.
A feast fit for an ogre. You notice a peculiar dagger protruding from the tough, leathery meat.
Okay, we have a sleight of hand check here.
Your cautious method pays off. The dagger glides smoothly out of the mystery meat.
And all that is a dagger +1.
What's in here? Gently.
Okay. And now we're going to leave everybody up here. We're going to go down here with Astarion.
Let's see here.
As you approach, a guttural scream and a succession of quick bangs rattle the door. Then, a low moan. Someone, or something, is having a bit of fun.
you doing? Ruined. Smash. Oh, smash you!
Okay, and she got to go first. Okay. So she missed, which was unexpected. Okay, yeah, she rolled a 3. So, hey, Astamura, welcome. So, I am going to disengage here because there's a really good chance that she's going to hit me.
Get out! Out!
Okay. So now I'm gonna dash and move completely away. Where are the detection cones? Not yet. I need to move away. But if I do this, I need to move around the corner. I don't know if I can get out of sight. Oh, I can. I can get out of sight here. Okay. Because they will still throw more stuff at you. And now the detection cones are where I want them to be. They are all facing away from me.
I shouldn't linger.
Okay, so that's perfect.
The mission has to come first. Better tread carefully.
He's got 16 hit points.
Better make my next move. Never wanted the easy path.
So we're just going to eliminate him from this fight. Where's her detection cone at? Not good for Astarion.
The dance macabre.
But let's do this anyway. So let's move here. Going to hide.
Just like old times.
Now I'm going to move farther
This will do
away.
nicely.
If she goes and investigates Astarion, that'll be good for us. If she turns around and heads towards Lae'zel, that's good for us. Either way, we do well
Caution never hurt.
on this. And what's he at? 16?
On my way.
What comes now?
Okay, and now, hopefully, I can just get rid of
Let's have some
Gruko,
company.
because he's going to go next.
My faith protects me.
So an 84% chance to hit here. Perfect. Okay, so for here, let's start whittling her down a little bit. She's at 57.
Let's end this.
So Shadowheart can also go next. Need to get her within range, though. I think she's within range here. We're gonna upcast this. Ooh, that was huge.
Can't even catch my
Because now... Night-night.
Can't afford to let up.
Keep them guessing.
So I'm going to get sneak attack damage. I'm going to get a guaranteed crit. So this should be enough to kill Baldur. Okay. I am so close. Okay, so except for that, for her going first, which kind of threw a hiccup into Astarion there. Everything with that worked out really well.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
We got a lucky crit with Shadowheart, but even if we didn't get that crit,
This'll do.
we were going to put her in a position where she was being flanked from two directions, and that would allow Astarion to come in, and since she would be threatened, to get sneak attack damage on her as well. So once we took care of him and got him kind of out of the fight a little bit, then things were guaranteed to go our way.
Worth examining.
Okay, we'll just do searching in here real quick.
Have a lot on
Okay,
my mind.
so we have actually, that's a good point. I
They should all
think
be running.
we are not going to do this encounter here. But okay, so no, we don't get it. I didn't know if we got XP for jumping into the Risen Road for the first time. Trying to think. if there's another quick way I can get 24 or so, there's 50 for Lae'zel, some XP. Don't want to go do any of this. I think I'm just going to go... Well, we need to take a long rest anyway, right? So we'll take a long rest. We will go back to the Emerald Grove. We will finish up our buying spree with Auntie Ethel. Clear out our inventory. And then we should be able to head out and take care of the ogres. It's just going to take a little bit longer because we don't have our first feat yet. I believe we did bring, yeah, we brought Aaron's approval up, or attitude up.
What's up for discussion?
So we can check his inventory real quick.
Refugees, adventurers, no one in years, and suddenly we're overwhelmed. Well met. And thank you for beating back those goblins. Most brave of you. Is there anything you need? Act fast if you do. The ritual will be complete before too long. Just some bits and bobs I no longer need.
Okay, so the gloves of missile snaring we're going to pick up here. The ring of flinging we don't really have a need for it. Rain dancer we're also going to pick up. Spell thief we don't necessarily need, but we can pick up some of this stuff anyway. So let's go ahead and sell off what we have here. So we'll clear out our trash bags. Make sure that there's nothing else we need. So Astarion is already full on thieves' tools and everything, and we still have a couple of shovels. So all of this is all good to get rid of. Okay, so this entire trash bag is good. 478 gold from trash. So like I say, trash is a good thing to pick up in this game. Don't just leave it laying around. Pick it up and go sell it. Here's all the bottles and clothes and all that sort of stuff that we picked up. So all of this is all trash. $1,500 gold. And we're still not done. All of this is also trash. So 1,800 gold and trash. So let's start moving over the things that we want to buy and see where that puts us with the amount of gold that he has. Okay, so that is 1,000 gold over what he has, plus his 540, so that's 1,359. So we need to get rid of 450-ish or so gold. So we're looking for 1,359 as the final number. Good call. Thank you, Lord Henry. Okay, so 1321. Get this up to 1359. $56. Now, if we balance that, that should use up all of his gold.
Sylvanas, guide your path.
Then we'll go down here. We'll talk to Auntie Ethel.
Druids. Who uses wooden tools?
What I do for some salt?
Oh, actually, Astarion's leveled up. We're gonna get our feet.
Hello, Petal. Need anything? Any lotions or potions? Hey, bother.
Okay, now she doesn't have anything in here now, but we can sell off the rest of our trash. While she has gold to spare. I don't think I can split these. Yeah, can't split these in our inventory anymore. Okay, so we'll balance that offer out. Barter it.
Take care now, sweetie.
Now we're gonna level Astarion up. And we're gonna get our first feat out of Astarion. And that feat is going to be Sharpshooter. This is the ranged version of Great Weapon Master. So you have a -5 penalty to your attack roll, but you deal an additional 10 damage. And you can toggle this on and off. Once we get a level up here,
Let's get going.
that resets Auntie Ethel's inventory.
Hello, Petal. Need anything? Any lotions or potions? Hey, bother.
So she should have 3 more elixirs of Hill Giant strength. And that puts us up to 17.
Take care now, sweetie.
So now we're going to take our long rest and see if we get a cutscene out of this here. Because we do need to take a long rest. Okay, so let's go around and see if we have any conversations to have real quick.
Very well.
Looks like we do with Gale.
Something the matter?
Okay, nothing there.
Need something?
Speak.
Well met.
And now Will, he does have the Arcane Hunger status effect. Okay, so we need to cure that. You do not want that to go on.
Apart from finding me an artifact to consume, which I assume you're pursuing with the appropriate urgency. That is most gratifying to hear. May I?
Okay, and this is why we keep some of these artifacts around in the early game, is to be able to give him certain things. And this is why you might want to buy like the Spell Thief bow and that sort of stuff, is because it will have a tooltip underneath it that will say Gale can absorb this item's magic, destroying it. So in this case, the Ring of Color Spray is what I'm going to give up to him.
Thank you. hit the spot. I can feel it work. The magic, it's like a lullaby that sings to sleep the demon inside. A metaphorical demon, I haste to point out, but no less dangerous. And no less bound to wake up again to continue its ravages. Such is the nature of all monsters. Oh, it's not so bad once you get used to it. And, on the plus side, my tower in Waterdeep has never been so free of clutter. Sincerely, though, I understand I ask a lot from you with few answers in return. But in time, all will be told. My lady, I bow to your boundless kindness.
Okay, and now we're going to take our long rest.
Don't sleep well, flitting between dreams and nightmares. Maybe you wake up because you know something is wrong, or maybe you just get lucky.
Shit. No, it's not what it looks like. I swear. I wasn't going to hurt you. I just needed, well, blood.
There, in the dim firelight, you see him for what he really is. A vampire, a slave to sanguine hunger.
It's not what you think. I'm not some monster. I feed on animals. Boars, deer, kobolds, whatever I can get. I'm just too slow right now. Too weak. If I just had a little blood, I could think clearer, fight better. Please.
A strange sensation courses through you, and your companion's mind unfolds, secrets half revealed.
At best, I was sure you'd say no. More likely, you'd ram a stake through my ribs. No. I needed you to trust me. And you can trust me. Thank you. Do you think you could trust me just a little further? I only need a taste. I swear. Really? Of course. Not one drop more. Let's make ourselves comfortable, shall we?
It's like a shard of ice into your neck. A quick, sharp pain that fades to throbbing numbness. Your breath catches, your pulse quickens.
Oh, of course. That was amazing. My mind is finally clear. I feel strong. I feel happy. Shouldn't take long. So many people need killing. Now, if you'll excuse me, you're invigorating, but I need something more filling. This is a gift, you know. I won't forget it.
You watch as he stalks towards the forest, stronger, more confident, ready to hunt.
So that cutscene will unlock Astarion's vampire bite ability, where now he can, on a humanoid creature, become happy, and happy gives him a +1 to all attack rolls, saving throws, and most ability checks. And then the target that you bite becomes bloodless, so they have a -1 to those same exact things. It does 2d8 piercing damage, but not if it is sleeping or if you are hiding. So you also gain 2d4 hit point recovery on doing it. And you can see I have the bloodless condition, but that is very easy to get rid of with lesser restoration. Okay, that I got from the Amulet of Sylvanas. I'm going to equip the gloves of missile snaring. So now I'm up to 20, and that's normally my number for how many elixirs of hill giant strength I'm going to need. Up until I get to the point where I am able to get either a restock of those potions or potions that do a higher amount of strength increases. But either way, I'm going to leave those on Astarion for now. We're not going to utilize it for this next encounter, but we are going to be swapping over to those fairly quickly. Okay, so let's go talk to Astarion.
How many die tomorrow?
Good morning. How do you feel? It'll pass. Just be glad I'm not a true vampire. A bite from them and you might wake up as a vampire spawn, like my good self. All of a vampire's hunger, but few of their powers. Oh no. I should be cinders in this light. I hadn't seen the sun for 200 years before we crashed here. Someone, or something, wants me alive. They've changed the rules. Standing in the sun, wading through a river, wandering into homes without an invitation. They're all perfectly mundane activities now. As for my other quirks, well, we can figure those out in time. That's my theory, but who knows? I'm just glad you're being sensible about these revelations. I was worried people might turn up with torches and pitchforks. Although there's still time.
A vampire among us? So be it. But should I wake with so much as a drop of blood on my neck, I will end him.
I'd just better not wake in the night to find fangs at my throat.
Quite the opposite. I'm here in the spirit of openness and honesty, to work together as a team.
Fine. He stays till he's no longer of use. Besides, my flesh is not so easily tasted. Unless, of course, I have offered it.
There now. We're all friends again. Shall we go? There's a long day ahead of us.
Okay, so we should have...
Swift as my feet can carry me. Seems like a
well,
good
let's see if we do have any quick conversations.
So, Gale just consumes magical items like I do wine. We truly are a group apart. Nevertheless, as quirks go, that's a new one for me. something the matter?
Okay. So we'll just clear out these conversations here real quick. And then we'll take our long rest and we're going to head out to a fight.
Gale is positively voracious. Well, let him suck up all the magic he needs, as long as he doesn't snack on a Githyanki's silver sword.
Speak.
Okay, and like always, if you get a pre-generated conversation at the start, always go back in and check and see if there's not another one
Gale
behind it.
slurped that thing up like a horse with a carrot. I hope he got what he needed from it.
Well met.
How can I help? We all have our burdens, one way or the other.
Okay. Now we're good. Let's leave.
Seems simple enough.
We'll be right back. Next to Auntie Ethel.
Hello, Petal. Need anything? Any lotions or potions? Hey, bother.
And I'm going to pick up the last 3 that I'm going to buy from her.
Take care now, sweetie.
Okay, and let's go over here and check Damon's inventory.
Looking for steel? I have, well, something close.
See if we have anything in here we want.
Trust no one.
Action, not reaction.
So the heavy crossbow. Would be a straight upgrade for Lae'zel. And it's fairly cheap. We are going to pick up the hunting short bow without a doubt. The safeguard shield is cheap enough. The heavy crossbow +1 is also cheap enough.
There is work to do.
Okay, the hunting short bow will go here.
Eager for battle.
I can also sell these thieves' tools. And then as far as the saving throw, +1 for the safeguard shield, that's just a straight upgrade for anybody. And then we do have a short bow +1, but I think everybody else has light crossbows. So it would be an increase to hit, but a drop in damage. I think that's it for now. Okay, so let's head back to the Blighted Village. We're going to deal with some ogres.
But give me so much as a
We're going to put everybody into hiding. We're going to
drive a
split the
stake
group.
through your heart.
We're going to bring Astarion out here. Let's make sure we swap this. We want the extra damage from Hunter's Mark. And I do need to split those so I don't keep forgetting to do that, and we'll put that in Lae'zel's trash bag. Okay.
Move unseen.
We're going to take Astarion up here. Okay, and down here we have Chalk, Lump, and Fank. Lump has a very important magical item for us that we want. Now, we could talk with them, bargain with them, and be able to summon them later for a fight if we would like. And they can be very, very useful in certain fights here that you're going to have in Act 1. I prefer just to get them out of the way. I'm not going to be utilizing them later because there's a problem with that, with getting them to fight for you, in that when you summon them after you're done, you have to make succeedingly harder persuasion checks to get them to stay with you, and if you don't, then there's a chance that they can end up attacking you, and that can be, that if you're not prepared for it, that can go badly. So I'm just going to get them out of the way. And I'm going to start this off by Astarion because I can get a sneak attack here. And I'm not going to start with Lump, actually. Remember, I have Sharpshooter all in. But with advantage here, I'm getting an 88% chance to hit on either Chalk or Fank. So I'm going to start with Fank here. Okay, that brings me into combat. They are surprised for another turn. So now I'm going to bring in Hunter's Mark. And going to get another attack here. This is Assassinate Initiative, which is giving me advantage. So again, with Sharpshooter all in, I'm still with an 88% chance to hit. That got a crit. Okay, so now I can end my turn. And now here, I want to get a regular attack in. So I'm at 65% chance to hit here. Let me make sure of my, making sure I've got my order here. Yes, I need a regular attack here. Oh, wow, Astarion. Okay. So, wasn't necessarily expecting those. So now invisibility has triggered for me. I'm just going to move here just a little bit, and I'm going to end my turn. Since they can't see me, they do not do anything. They just sit down there, and they don't move. Okay? So I need to make sure that at the end of every turn, I am hidden, which means I need to save my bonus action for going into hiding. All right? So now, reapplying Hunter's Mark also uses a bonus action to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep attacking here, and I can make a sneak attack from hiding.
Let's play.
Okay, and now again, I want to make sure that I end my turn in hiding.
They won't know a bit.
I'm going to hide. Okay, and now here I'm going to reapply Hunter's Mark with my bonus action.
How about this?
And I'm going to use my action to go back into hiding. And now Hunter's Mark is reapplied. I can get sneak attack damage and Hunter's Mark.
Sounds like fun.
And Sharpshooter all in. So you can see I'm rolling the regular damage plus the dexterity modifier plus Sharpshooter all in plus Hunter's Mark plus sneak attack. All in the same turn, and then I can just use my bonus action to go back into hiding. Then I can rinse and repeat. Okay, so now invisibility is triggered. But again, I can't really use invisibility because I need to end my turn in hiding. If I recast Hunter's Mark, then that's going to use my bonus action and I won't be in hiding anymore. Okay, so reapply Hunter's Mark onto Lump. Use my action to go into hiding. And you may be asking why I don't just stand there. There's a weird occurrence in the game where if you're on the same spot where you went into hiding, sometimes the enemies, for some reason, know that you are there. I've had it happen several times in my personal playthroughs, where if I don't move off of my hide spot, they know where I'm at. Now, in this case, they don't move, they stay down here, but normally you want to move off your hide spot anyway, because they're going to come investigate that last hiding position and do their detect presence thing, and you don't want to be anywhere near it. In this case, I've had it before where if I don't move off of that, they start moving and they try and move and come up here onto the roof with me, and that can be a bad day. So now with Lump, because he's blurred, okay, we're going to have disadvantage on him, which means we're not going to be able to utilize sneak attack, but our hiding offsets it. So the only negative we're really getting here is the -2 sharpshooter all in, and we could choose to turn that off if we would like and up our to hit chance to 85%.
Make it hurt.
And his concentration is now broken on blur, so we're going to turn that back on, go into hiding.
See me?
And now sneak attack for days.
Delicious. Ready or not? Make it hurt. Leave no trace. Mutilate them.
That's it. Welcome to Astarion, everyone.
Tread lightly.
So that does not happen all the time. Don't think that that's going to be a regular occurrence throughout your playthrough. Most of the time, they're going to walk toward your hide spot and try and investigate it. However, that can be used to really good effect. And Astarion is more than capable, especially as a shadow monk, of soloing some of the most difficult boss encounters in the game without ever being touched. And we're going to see some of that as we go later on.
I have a confession. I was too hasty to judge you. I thought you witless, gutless, unimpressively bland. Yes, all that is true. I am cold as the sea of night. But you have stoked fires I didn't know I possessed. I swear, you would tear the horns off one dragon for plunging into another. You've gained my respect, and more still, my yearning. When I come near, your odor alone is enough to make my neck sweat and my hairs stand on end. Isn't it obvious? I want to taste you. Perhaps tonight, perhaps later, but I want it all the same. Do you?
So what do you think, chat? A tryst with Lae'zel?
I won't be your girlfriend. but I will be your lay. Yes or no?
A Githyanki with benefits.
Yes. Perhaps one night soon, I will come to your bunk and take what is mine. Until that night comes, I shall keep enjoying your scent.
Hey, well. It's going to be fun. Okay, so now our level up here. This gets us definitely more than enough to level the rest of us up. We're going to be doing respecs on this, but for now we're going to keep adventuring around here and get into a couple more situations. So my bard build here is going to be substantially different than what I have done in previous playthroughs. Let me rephrase that. It's going to be different in what it does and how it acts, and it is going to be different in the build as far as how 2 levels play out. We have our first 3 levels in Bard, which was very important for us to get our College of Swords subclass. We can gain our first feat here, which could be very nice for us to do. However, for the next few levels, we need to start prepping for bigger fights and for protecting ourselves. Because things are going to start quickly getting out of hand, and we want to be able to be better prepared on the defensive side of things. Once we get past level 6, then things will start upping on the offensive side of things for our bard. But for now, we're going to start prepping for the defensive side of things, and that's going to start off with us taking a level into Warlock. We are still going to have options here on whether we want to get our extra attack from the Deepened Pact through Warlock, or if we want to get it through level 6 of our College of Swords Bard. So we still have options on how we want to do that. Those 2 extra attacks will not stack in Honor Mode like they do in the other difficulties. But the main reason that we're going to be taking our dip into Warlock is, 1, because it gets us a much better ranged spell option than just shooting our bow. With Eldritch Blast and Agonizing Blast, and then the other Eldritch Invocations which can be added onto it possibly, we have much more versatility with our ranged attack options here than with a standard bow at this point. So we're going to be getting Eldritch Blast, which is a must-have thing for us to have. We're also going to get rid of Blade Ward and take Minor Illusion out of this, and you're going to see this play a lot more in Honor Mode than in Balanced Mode. Grouping enemies up to be able to get AoE impacts against all of them at once is going to be incredibly useful here. For our subclass, the Fiend is always a good place to start early on, just because of the sustain that the temporary hit points grant you. However, we're a little bit past that, I think, in that the 4 temporary hit points probably isn't going to be as much for us. So we're going to go into the Great Old One because the AoE Frighten ability on a critical hit is much more useful. And that is going to grant us 2 spells here, which we specifically avoided taking as a bard, which can be very powerful for, especially paired with Arcane Acuity, to lock down single targets, or to again cast Frighten from range. on targets. So for our spell choice, those are the two that we're going to end up staying with. However, we're going to get rid of Tasha's to start and pick Hex. For us, having an additional source of damage in Act 1 that applies to all of our attacks is a huge bonus. And that's what Hex is going to do for us. Just like Hunter's Mark or Astarion, having Hex available to us is going to be very, very useful. Now, it doesn't matter what we end up taking here with Lae'zel. And that's because she's not going to be around all that much longer. But when she is, we're going to have a respec for her to combine a couple of different things in a multi-class for her. So what I'm going to do here, though, is to take Great Weapon Master for her. And that's just because this gives me an extra option if I'm attacking from hide, where I can leave this on and gain an additional flat 10 damage, which is still big in Act 1. And for Shadowheart, things really don't matter because Shadowheart is desperately in need of a respec, which we are certainly going to go do. So what I pick with her right now doesn't really matter. I am going to get to redo some of my spells here and put Hold Person back on. I'm not going to have much need for Calm Emotions yet, but I am going to have a need for it in a specific encounter. And then for my feat here, again, this doesn't really matter as much because she needs a respec badly. So I'll just take her ability improvement. And now we're going to move out and go do a specific encounter that we need to get knocked out of the way. And that's down here. So we're going to head back through out of the Blighted Village. We're going to actually head back across the bridge. Well, no, we can go down here. Because I think they might... I can't remember if they've gone in yet or not. They might still be out front. They are out front. Okay. So, this encounter is actually going to be harder than I would like it to be. And that's because of the choice I made with Brenna and Andric earlier when I met their brother, Edwin. I could better control this encounter if they weren't here, but I think it's going to be more interesting to do it this way, because there's a way, and I'll see if I can still do it. It's just these two are wild cards, and I'm not entirely sure how they're going to act once we get here. So let me look at my... So I'm at 16. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm going to...
Owlbear tracks. Its nest must be nearby.
And I'm going to talk to Brenna and Andric here.
Absolute. Protect us.
Okay, and we're going to split our group. And I'm going to go in just with my bard. I need to make sure that I have the silver pendant with me. Just in case.
You're doing the right thing.
And I really should respec Astarion for this. But I won't. Okay, now Brennick, Andric and Brenna are gonna run in here. And they're going to start this before I really want them to.
Prey, no doubt.
Okay. Maybe not. Maybe I can get them to stay back.
You feel the quake of its heavy footsteps before you see it. An owlbear, its beaked face looming out of the darkness.
Okay, so I have a performance check here I can make. I forgot to put on speak with animals.
The beast shrinks back, feathers quivering.
Okay, and this is going to allow me to maneuver my characters around in this area. And that's what's very important about this entire way of doing it.
All right. Let's go.
And this is where Brenna and Andric are probably going to mess things up for me. I need to
Whatever it takes.
redo Shadowheart's spell and add in silence.
Got to keep moving.
What to do?
Okay, so we're going to get prepped here. Okay, and now we want to get everybody as close to the owlbear as we can.
Assume nothing.
All right, what now?
And we're going to start this off with Lae'zel, and we're going to start it off in turn-based mode. And here's, like I say, where Brennick and Andra might throw a monkey wrench in things. Because I can't control them.
I will be heard.
And they aren't near me. And the owlbear may want to do a leap attack onto them, as opposed to a leap attack onto me. And I want the owlbear to stay near me.
Can't afford to stay idle.
Because I'm going to cast silence on top of all of us here. And this is going to start the combat. Okay. And this is what I meant about Brenna and Andric. They're way back here. If the owlbear decides to do a leap attack and he jumps out here, he's outside of the silence cone. The reason silence is here is because of the legendary action. And this is the first time that we've seen a legendary action from an enemy. Legendary actions are incredible in tabletop to deal with on your major enemies. Once per round, the owlbear can spend a legendary action to call for help when she is attacked. Now, this legendary action is a little special in that it's once per round and it's only also a single use. she can't do it more than once. Legendary actions are special reactions in 5e D&D rules because they can be used at any time at the end of any character's turn. Meaning that she doesn't have to be on her turn to use her legendary action. As soon as somebody attacks her, or somebody casts a spell at her, or somebody else does some sort of action, she can use her legendary action to do this. Now, silence means that she cannot call out for help because she can't speak. There's no sound here, and that means that even if she uses this, she can't be heard. Nothing's going to respond to it. However, if she moves out of the silence bubble, like she jumps out here to attack them, then she's now no longer silenced and she can use that call consort ability. We will see if that happens or not. Normally, if you all stay in the bubble, you're fine. She will never call for reinforcements. However, in this case, she might. But we're going to have to see kind of how this plays out. She goes before Andric and Brenna in the order. If she attacks one of my characters, then Brennick and Andrew are going to come running in here, and they're going to get inside the silence bubble, and then we're golden. But if she decides to jump out here and go after them, we might see reinforcements. So we're going to go ahead and just deal as much damage as we possibly can here on this first turn while we have the ability here. And disarming attacks, none of these are going to do anything. We do have riposte, which we definitely want to put on ask for a reaction. And we're going to try and implement some damage over time here, as well as regular attack. Now with all in, let's see if we can use our bonus action to pommel strike first. And if you examine, that would lower her armor class from 13 to 12. Okay. Now that everybody gets to go before her, I'm going to kind of move around this side. Maybe I get the Owlbear cub to attack me instead. And for now, I'm going to use my defensive flourish here. Okay, so I missed not the best of all reactions, but I can also flourish. Attack rolls against it have advantage. And we really need this to hit. That's outstanding. Okay, so now attack rolls against it have advantage. So now we can go to Lae'zel, and her lacerate ability now has an 88% chance to hit. That starts, she saved against it. We're going to action search. And drop a second one.
Time to push my
Good damage there. Now Astarion can drop out. Reapply Hunter's Mark. Come back in. And should be able to get sneak attack damage here. And with advantage, it's offsetting the sharpshooter all in. 29 damage. Shadowheart hasn't even gone yet, so we will pop her out of the bubble. We're going to drop the Maul for concussive smash. We're going to drop Shadowheart back into the bubble just in case. And again, I want to get them in close. So Astarion, I need to...
inside out.
I need to...
This feels good.
Why am I not able to cancel Astarion's turn? Okay. And then Concussive Smash here, again, dazes your target, which again drops its armor class by 1 and makes it more susceptible to wisdom spells. And we can see if maybe, just maybe, we can get the kill straight here in the first round. Outstanding. Okay, so we're going to drop Silence.
Mine's never quiet.
The cub looks from you to his dead mother.
Wake. Hungry.
A single strike will end his suffering.
It hurts. Hungry. Food.
You watch speechless as the cub begins to eat his mother.
The cub has a fighting
Okay,
chance
now if we speak to Brenna.
It's dead. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. I wish Edwin were here. He would have been honored to fight alongside you. What would you have of us now, madam?
So I've actually not played this out to see storyline impacts. But I know here they're probably going to end up back at the Goblin camp. I don't know what this one does, actually. While we're here, actually, I can... Let me see if I can quickly find out what the repercussion of this is, if there is any. Okay. So I'm going to actually send them to the Goblin camp, because I know there's something...
Told us there was a camp of faithful goblins nearby. We'll find safe harbor there. He'd want us among friends. Absolute protect you.
Because they are not going to end up surviving. And there's going to be a dark urge thing that happens with them. I do know that. I just didn't know what the resume duties in the area meant, or what that applied, and I don't want to waste time finding it now. So a couple of things about this fight. As Lord Henry said, that was perfect. The only thing that I did wrong there was that I did not reactivate Great Weapon Master before Lae'zel attacked. So after she got advantage on those attacks from the flourish, I should have reactivated this to gain an extra 20 damage off of it, and we definitely would have been able to end that fight in the first turn if we had hit with both of those attacks. But that is a flawless victory in my mind. As for how that encounter can go, and it's really all due to silence. If you can kill her in the first round, she will not have an opportunity to move out of silence. And she definitely will not be able to call for her mate. And things are just done. However, even if she gets a turn, if all of your characters are inside the silence bubble and they're all grouped around her, if the silence bubble is right behind you, she may actually leap outside of the bubble of silence and attack you from behind. That can be bad. So that's why Astarion, I was trying to cancel his turn to move him farther in. You want all of your characters to be close to the owlbear, so even if it leaps behind you, it's still in the silence aura. However, there's no need to do this fight, in all honesty. The only thing this fight gets you is 20 XP. If you kill the owlbear. If you kill its mate, you get another 20 XP. So that's the only benefit to doing this, is 40 experience. As dangerous as this fight can be, it's normally not worth it if you're going to try and straight up do this fight. Because if you have the encounter here, you talk your way out of it, and then you leave, and you take a long rest, when you come back, the owlbear is going to be dead. You're going to be able to loot the head of a broken spear. The cub will be gone, and it will be in the goblin camp. And you can come in here and loot this entire area without having to fight at all. And the only thing you've done is missed out on 40 XP.
Despite everything.
So it's one of those things where in honor mode, you really probably should not have done this fight. The fact that I knew how to make it a little easier with silence, and the fact that I wanted to explain what legendary actions were, because this is the first time that you're going to be able to see one. I felt confident at level 4 doing this fight even if the consort showed up. I knew I'd be able to almost kill the owlbear in the first round of combat, and that means we're still one-on-one with an owlbear with the same number of hit points. So I wasn't too worried about it either way. But if you're doing this at level 3, you probably need to wait until you get level 4 and you've got your feats to be able to really up your damage with either Sharpshooter or Great Weapon Master or something like that. Because otherwise it can be a little difficult, and you really do not need to do this fight. So the Oak Father's Embrace is medium armor, where if undead creatures hit you, they receive 1d6 radiant damage. However, if animals hit you, they deal an additional 1d6 radiant damage to you. It's not something that I'm going to be utilizing yet. There is a specific type of build where it can be very useful, especially in undead fights, but it's not something that I'm really going to be focused around.
More owlbear eggs. Already hatched. No point in taking these.
Okay, and now here. Now, oh, you know what I didn't do?
What a day. Don't mind if
I did not loot this area after I killed the ogres.
On my way.
And I don't want to go into that area under there until I have. And I know I haven't looted them.
I'll just help myself.
Because I did not pick up the Warped Headband of Intellect. Here's Lump's Warhorn, which if you keep them alive and bargain with them, they will give you this. And you can use it during combat to bring those three into combat to fight on your side. However, when the combat's over, you have to convince them to allow you to summon them again, or else if you fail that, they can, after another check, become hostile. And again, like I said during the start of this fight, it can get a little bit out of hand if you're not prepped for it.
That might be worth a look.
Because they do have a lot of hit points, and in melee range, they hit really hard.
tiefling's corpse stirs with the spell, you realize the tiefling's body has been torn open by huge hands.
Ogres, hungry, bloodied, screams.
This is one more reason why, even, I don't roleplay in this game very often, but Lump, Jock, and Fank are bad ogres. They're just bad people.
Elturel, Zoru, friend. True sight, no coin. Strange warriors, gold skin, silver blades.
Quick of foot, this one, to avoid Githyanki hunters.
Mountains, road, gate.
Okay, that's going to advance the Kresh quest near a mountain pass in the northwest. Okay.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
What have we here?
So we'll finish searching this area up here.
Someone's
Then
dying.
we're going to head back
Might
to the
explain what
cave.
happened here.
And again, it's not like this is having that is going to make or break this. But I'm trying to pass as many of the checks as I can. And then crossing this area here, you have Volo's Guide to Baldur's Gate. And you have Volo's Backpack. And that lets you know basically that that's his book that he was writing in the Druid Grove. And he went out here, he told us he was going to go talk to some goblins, and now that kind of lets you know that he's been captured. And that is certainly the case. We will see that later on. Okay, there it is. I was wondering where it was. Okay, and now that we have searched all of this area here, we're going to head out toward the east again. And make our way back down into the cave.
Need to find a way forward. Let's see.
Okay, now when I go down here, and I'm going to approach it the same way that I was earlier, you can walk yourself or climb yourself down the cragged rock here. Okay, before I go down here, I'm going to break my group. I'm going to give the warped headband of intellect and put it on Shadowheart.
I wonder what the next
I'm gonna
move
have
is.
Shadowheart cast guidance on herself.
No time
I'm
to
gonna have a
waste.
background check.
A Selûne statue in a stinking cave. Hardly a place of honor, even for the likes of her.
Okay. If you don't have Shadowheart in your party, that is an Arcana check.
There's magic at play here. A spell keeping this chest shut.
There's the other background check that talks about the spell on the gilded chest. You might not want to touch it. And those Arcana checks are intelligence-based. That's why I gave her the Warped Headband of Intellect. And then back here, there's a Perception check.
Something over there.
And those are all the
Still
checks that
alive,
you're
so
going to
that's
have.
progress. Have I been this way before?
Going to pick up the prayer sheet.
A prayer sheet. With the same symbol as the one on the chest.
And that prayer sheet, if you pass the check, it lets you know that it's related to this chest somehow. Everyone has an opportunity when they pick it up to pass that check, so you can hand it off to Shadowheart, who has the better religion and arcana scores here to be able to try and pass these. You don't have to pass any of them. All you have to do is pass the perception check to find the prayer sheet. But if you are interested in passing all of these things, then that is an easy way to do it, is to let Shadowheart come in here. You can also have Lae'zel cast her astral knowledge. That's going to, and you can give her the Warped Headband of Intellect, and you can have her cast this for intelligence. That's going to let her give her proficiency bonus to Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, Religion, and Religion. So the Arcana and Religion are where she's going to get the bonuses that apply to these checks.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Okay, so now before you touch it, you need to read the prayer sheet. You're going to get an inspiration out of it, and the XP, and then the gilded chest, you can open it.
You should leave it, or even destroy it if possible. This rubbish is an offering to Selûne. At best, it's worthless. At worst, who knows? Could be cursed. Trifling with that moon witch will only bring you trouble. Shah's guidance is clear.
Okay, so now you can decide to leave it, or you can make a persuasion check here. It is a high DC.
Fine. Perhaps you can sell them for a couple of coins.
So if you pass that, you do not lose any approval with her. If you don't pass it, you will get disapproval from her. And you're noticing that every time we do something that does not involve killing our enemies, or if we're being nice to people and forgiving them, she's getting that that pain in her hand. And here you have the Moondrop Pendant. It's another one of the things that at this point you can just equip it because you don't have anything else. It's also something that you can give to Gale, which is why I keep it. But basically, if you have half your hit points or less, then you don't provoke opportunity attacks, which allows you to escape easier when you're short on hit points. And you do have an Idol of Selûne in here, which you can sell for a decent amount of gold. But for now, like I say, the amulets and gear and stuff is still being built up. At this point, it still doesn't really matter what I'm wearing and what I'm not. There's not a whole lot of choices or benefits I'm going to get out of anything that I have. So it doesn't really matter what you do with it. And I'm going to pick up the gilded chest. The gilded chest I can sell for gold.
Never wanted the easy path.
And now I can make my way back out.
I'll give it a shot.
Now we can kind of take stock of where we are and where we want to go with the last 30 minutes here is to head down toward the Sunlit Wetlands. We've gotten all of the elixirs that we want from Auntie Ethel down here. And to advance the Investigate Kagha quest, we need to move into the swamp or the Sunlit Wetlands. As soon as we do that, we're going to trigger Auntie Ethel to move from the Druid Grove into the Sunlit Wetlands. And that means she will no longer be available for us to barter with. So you want to buy all the potions that you need from her before you go down and continue with the Investigate Kagha quest. Now when we get down here, we want to again start paying attention to what we're doing. So I'm going to split my party and I'm going to move down here near this tree. Okay, I passed that perception check and then I'm going to move over here. And I failed that one.
My faith will guide me.
I must keep going.
Okay, we perceived it as normal, which is good.
Let's move.
Even if I failed them all, I was still going to dig it up. But the wooden chest here has the fleet fingers in it, as well as some potions out of the potion loot table and some camp supplies. So fleet fingers is kind of like the boots that we picked up, where if you dash, you gain extra things after you dash. This one allows you to jump without taking a bonus action, but also it's another one of those items that Gale can absorb.
Walk in death.
It's not all that useful, except for that type of application. And in here, we're going to have a backpack. We can open that up, and there's more crafting supplies. And there's normally some pretty good crafting supplies in here as well. So we're going to head back down here, and there's hunter stashes, which are kind of cleverly hidden. Those don't normally have anything in them. And we also want to head over here, because there's a beehive. And there's going to be a collapsed burrow here as well.
Maybe I need more pockets.
And before I go into my next combat, I'm going to clear out my inventory. Don't forget the berry bush in this corner for some more camp supplies. Okay, so up here we've got another beehive around the corner. And remember, this is the entrance where we had the Astarion soloing these two goblins here. soon as Auntie Ethel gets within render range, she now teleports out of the goblin camp and shows up here. So if you want to keep buying from her, don't venture into this southern portion of the Blighted Village, because you might get close enough for her to teleport and then you can't use her anymore.
But you're bloody getting some if you don't fess up.
Lads, for the love of all that is holy, I've never clapped eyes on your poor sister.
Drop the act, hag. You was the last to see Mayrina.
Just let her go. Please.
Thank goodness you're here, sweetie. I don't know what's come over these boys.
Stop this! We won't ask again.
Sweetie, be careful!
She's with the hag!
Don't bloody stand there gaping. Get her!
Okay, now whatever happens here, these two are going to die. There's nothing that you can do to save them. Larian has narratives built in, and all of those, no matter if you knock them out, if you do all sorts of other stuff to avoid this combat, it's been thoroughly explored, and all of the narratives even imply, if not straight out say it, that they're going to die. Now, me having this combat with them here means I'm going to get a different reaction and dialogue from Mayrina when I finally meet her. But again, I don't really care. So with Slashing Flourish, I can get both of them.
Shall we cut and run?
Even with Sharpshooter all in, I'm still at 91% to hit, or 88% to hit. Aww.
Time to strike. Oh, my stars! I didn't mean for this to happen. You're a cheeky pup, aren't you? But I can respect someone who gets down to business. And such heroic deeds deserve proper thanks. Why don't you stop by my house? I'll be sure to look after you. See you soon, dearie.
Was less helpless than she made out. I don't trust her.
Okay, so now we can recast Speak with the Dead.
Eyes filled with fear. The corpse will not speak with you. The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Because what Mayrina wants, only Hag can give. Don't drink the water.
That sentence applies to Wyll later on.
Hags play with their food. My sister went to Ethel. Husband died. Wants him back. Farm out by Baldur's Gate.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
And we can cast it again on Joel.
Kill the hag. Apples. So red. So delicious, but... Oh.
Okay, so letting you know not to eat the apples.
Of course, 'cause she promised to bring Rena's husband back. But hags lie. She's scared she won't be a good mom. But she will. I know it. With pitchforks. Stupid. Joel. Cattle. Farmer.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so... And I might as well leave that on. No reason not to. So now we're going to
No time to rest.
maneuver down here into the Sunlit Wetlands. And there is a check here that can be made. And you can try and buff yourself up to make it. It's a really, really high check, though. And like I say, it almost isn't worth dealing with. Whoops.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
No one back home will ever believe this.
But we'll move down here.
Ready.
A chill runs up your spine. You feel like you're being watched.
Okay, so we have an investigation check or an arcana check to make here. Either one of these are going to be a DC 20, and even if you're using Lae'zel to do it, you're going to be getting a +2 on it. And it's an incredibly hard roll to pass, so I don't normally worry about whether or not I pass it. The only thing this does is lets you know what you really are in the middle of. This whole thing is a big illusion, and I'm not going to use an inspiration for
The
it.
place has a quiet sense of calm. You can't see anything strange.
So it lets you know better the things that you're going to be interacting with, whether they are actually truly what they say they are, or whether they're more hidden from view. But again, you don't have to pass that. If you would like to save scum it in your playthrough, feel free. I don't even bother trying to buff myself up in honor mode to make it. It just, there's no point. Oh, and I do need to search these two. Oh, and I forgot the rogue's morsel up here too. So there's a letter here that Mayrina sent to them saying she was going to go be with the hag. Oh, I forgot the mugwort too. Oh, I didn't forget it. It's just passed the way I came in. Okay, we're going to head down this way first. We're going to go right to the water's edge and we're going to stop. Okay, failed that perception check. Did pass that one.
I'm ready.
Onward. Ever onward.
Okay, failed that perception check. And again, I don't care if I pass these or not, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time dealing with them.
Eager for battle. Without delay.
The perception checks are for these spike traps, which you can see down here in the water. If you get hit by those, it can very easily kill one of your characters. You get poisoned and you get diseased, and that will keep stacking up damage over time until you make a saving throw to pass it. And if you fail that saving throw, it will stay for another, I think, 10 turns or something like that. It gets really, really dangerous. And there's one here, there's one here, there's another one over here. So when you're walking through these kind of fords across the creeks here, you want to stay in the middle of them. And don't walk in the water unless you just absolutely have to. So that's why I like to individually control my characters when I'm going through here, just so that they don't wander off of the path while they're trying to stay in that diamond formation of theirs.
Objective noted.
Because they will very often run into those traps. Now you can search the barbed bulrushes. If you do, you're going to have to make a sleight of hand check, or else you will get stung by the barbs on it. If you do pass it, and we can...
Have a lot on my mind. Well, in it.
Careful.
Just illustrate it here. Okay, so he passed the sleight of hand check. This allows you to loot the juicy apples out of these. A couple of things about the juicy apples. Remember, the brothers told us to be wary of the apples, and you can see that there's a poison symbol on them. These are going to give you the upset stomach condition for 10 turns, which means that you are poisoned. Okay, so you're going to take damage over time for 10 turns while you're poisoned, and you're going to have to get rid of it. The other thing about them is that they sell for a decent amount of gold. So if you want to go through here and search all of these,
I wonder.
You can come up with quite a few of them.
Over there.
And like I say, they all sell for a decent amount of gold. And I think you can come up with something like 40 of them out here.
One day I'll catch a break.
And when you go sell them, it ends up selling for like 150 gold when you're done. So there's a lot of opportunities here for gold out of these. So I'm going to go through and just, again, pick up everything out here. It's a pouch here with a lot of camp supplies in it. I'm going to pick up the pouch. There's a bedroll here, which I don't normally pick up because they're too heavy. For the gold that you get for them.
That might be worth a look.
Excuse me, Lae'zel. Okay, I will cast this on Astarion. Try and make another sleight of hand check. I didn't know succulent pears did that. They gave you the refreshed condition. Interesting. And again, more juicy apples.
No one back home will ever believe this.
And Astarion, one more time. And I think, Lord Henry, actually, I just saw the comment. Yeah, you're going to be able to find the teddy bear that's actually a container. I don't actually think it's unique, though. I think you can also pick one up in Arthur's basement. I believe. It's, like I say, it's been a while since I've looked at it. But I think you can pick up another one of those teddy bear containers from his basement because he was stuffing them full of explosives. So I think you find one more or maybe a couple more down there. But again, I haven't looked at it very much.
Let's get going.
And we're going to continue on this way. And what does our time look like? All right. Do you guys care if we go a little long today? I don't think that you do.
Well, hello. Subtle steps. A quick rummage.
Okay, so he got an open wound out of that.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
That should more than suffice. Blackets will be done.
Who's got it? He does.
How delicious.
Okay, so he passed the saving throw for it. So I didn't have to... You can cast lesser restoration on yourself afterwards to get rid of it, and that's why I took the short rest, because I knew it was on cooldown. But he passed the saving throw for it. So what I'm going to do is move kind of everybody down here into this corner. Going to put them all into hiding, and I'm going to break the group.
What's next, I wonder?
Should have worn better
And... Oof. Yeah, that's not good. Let's go to camp.
On my way.
He's got the arcane hunger trait again. Actually, I won't do it now. I'll come back to it.
Well met. Sorry, but there's no room for me. Let's make this happen.
Okay, and I'm going to level Wyll up here real quick. Because I want to get his Eldritch Invocations. So his spell here doesn't really matter to start off with because I'm going to be using a different concentration spell. I'm going to pick Agonizing Blast and Devil's Sight. Okay, my pact boon for him is going to be Pact of the Tome. And I'm taking Darkness. Now for here, I'm going to get rid of Arms of Hadar. Let me make sure. Yes. And I'm going to add in Scorching Ray. Well, I could do Shatter instead. That would probably be better. But Scorching Ray is what I want. Okay, for his feet... it's resilient, and I want to up Constitution for him. I want him to be able to maintain his saving throws here. Okay, and now we're just going to leave camp. And now here we will put everybody in hiding, and we'll kind of move down here a little bit.
Staying out of sight.
Actually, I need to get Astarion out of here.
Ready for anything.
Eyes open, mouth shut. Now what? Stay low.
Okay, and for Astarion, we're going to be starting things off with him, and we want to get a surprise round out of this. Okay, so the Druid Sanctuary here, now that we've moved in, they spawn in. This is a dangerous fight because of the ancient mud methods, and I'm going to get ready for turn-based mode here just in case. The ancient mud methods will spawn other mud methods. Those mud methods all have, and I'm just going to go into turn-based mode here real quick. They all have a Death Burst Force ability here, which when they die, they can deal 2d6 force damage to all creatures within a 2-meter radius. That damage adds up very, very fast considering our hit points here. They also have a ranged attack where they basically fling mud at you, and that mud gives you disadvantage on attacks and things like that. So you want to be, if you get mud covered, as part of the effect, if you fail the saving throw for it. So this can make it very hard to kill them from range, and if they get into melee range and you kill them, they can end up doing a lot of damage. This fight is not easy, and then you throw in the Woodwodes. There are 2 of them back here, and things get incredibly dicey. There's one thing that the Mephits can do that the Woodwodes can't, though, and that's the Mephits can fly. The Woodwodes, they can't fly, and they, for some reason, don't even know how to jump. So if you can remove the ability of them to do ranged attacks, then you can avoid the mud flinging. You still have to deal with the mud that happens when they explode, but you can avoid them flinging mud at you, and you can avoid the ranged attacks from the Woodwodes, and they are never able to cross this gap. So we're going to fight here on this island, and we're going to fight utilizing darkness. That will keep the Mephits from throwing mud from range into it, because they will like stop way over here and fling mud at you. They'll stop back here and fling mud at you, and it's just making it, causing damage and making it harder to work. So we're going to fight over here by dipping in and out of the darkness cloud. They're going to come over here. The Mephits can fly, and when they do, we're going to have to deal with them and their explosions. But we're also going to try and funnel them through here. And if we can funnel them through here get them grouped up and kill one, that explosion will damage all the others. So let's go ahead and get... We're going to exit turn-based mode. And we're going to wait for this method to come back. And we're going to kind of move up just a little bit, I think I can, to get out of the wet condition. I'm going to get ready to go back into turn-based mode, and we'll start this off. Because it's really hard to make a hit here with using control, which I normally would. Like I say, starting this off just by holding control and shooting, because they move so much. Okay, that's outstanding. I'm going to go back into hiding because I one-shot him. And that's what Sharpshooter All-In can do for you. So the next method's way up here. Which means things are going to get a little hairy.
Silent as the grave.
Because the water here is difficult terrain. So I don't want to get too far out here, because the Mephit's fly ability lets them cover a whole lot of ground. So let's see where this detection cone goes. Okay, so I could get up to maybe here. Let me see if that's correct. I'm watching the detection cone, so I can get... Yeah, I can get up to here. And we'll get ready to go back into turn-based mode again. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Let's be quick. Let's prowl. Quietly.
Okay, so that just brought us into combat. And that's what I wanted to do here, is to get myself back into combat. I could have done some damage there by disabling Sharpshooter All-In, but I'm not really worried about the Woodwodes. They're going to be regenerating anyway. I wanted to get me into combat so I can start dealing with these two. And they're quite a ways out here. So... Again, I don't care whether these hit, because they're just going to regenerate it.
Let's move.
Okay, good. They're coming in across the gap. This one might not, though. Nope, it looked like he turned the corner. Nope, he's going to come in the other way. He is going to fly all the way across here. Okay. That means I kind of need to get myself positioned to be able to deal with him. So I might as well bring them both in this way. Okay, so now since I killed 2 of them, I might not even have to fight from darkness. The detection cones are still really good here.
Let's have some fun.
Watching and waiting. Every step counts.
So what are we at? 13 hit points left. I would prefer to use that on him. Eight hit points, good.
I can be subtle sometimes.
See if I can get the kill
What you're hiding.
on him.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
And I want my bard to be moved up to the front here. She has the highest armor class. Four minimum. It would be. There would be the missed 75%er.
Light steps.
Okay. Good. That was a good round of combat there. He's gonna fly over and be right in the middle of everybody. And he's gonna get an attack on... Okay, so there's the mud breath. I'm hoping that he keeps doing that, and you just stay over there. And you dash around the corner and stay over there. Perfect. Okay, so... I'm going to provoke an attack of opportunity here, using my highest armor class character. Okay, perfect. Try and get out of the way a little bit and not be wet. Let's... coat my bow. Oh, yeah. Duh. I should have checked.
Let's spill some blood.
And Astarion is not going to be able to get sneak attack anywhere, but we will reapply Hunter's Mark. And move back. It's within, what's the range? Within 2 meters. So I should be fine, but I'm going to move back anyway. I'm going to remain... Oh, I'm not wet there either. Good. Was hoping I was going to get a kill there. Okay, but he only summoned 1 Mephit, which is good. So Wyll, because he's covered in mud, attack rolls against him have advantage. And I have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. And my movement speed is cut horribly down. You can see I can barely even move with him. So what's the range to him? 1.5, it's more than 2. Let's just move back here. see if we can get one. And if I do this, actually, I don't have to do that. If I kill this mud method, his summon is going to blow up too. Disadvantage. Oh, because of muddy. That's right. So let's move. Let's do this with Lae'zel instead. We'll move back even more. 55%. Not a great chance to hit. Got lucky. They exploded. No problems. So now the rest of this is cake. Yeah, because of muddy. I'm just going to have to suffer through this for a turn. And you can see them. They're just going to sit over there. And this allows me, again, with Eldritch Blast, to do more damage than my bow is going to do with this.
I'm ready.
I'm going to start stacking up the damage type, though. And as long as you don't get close enough to them to trigger their special attack, they're not going to regenerate. Because they're not standing on vines. They have regeneration, but it only if they start their turn on twisting vines. Yeah, I could get rid of the condition, but it was going to go away in one turn anyway. I believe it's fire damage that removes the muddy condition. I believe you can go back in the VOD and look at it, but I believe you have to cause fire damage to get rid of the muddy condition. It, I guess, dries the mud up and that sort of stuff and gets rid of it. And I need to keep adding in Hex, and I kept forgetting to do it.
Can you feel death's cold grip?
The blade will not bend.
And now you're just going to have a whole lot of misses. But they are not going to regenerate their hit points, so you just have to wear them down. And that 1d6 of necrotic damage there. And I wish I could hide, but there's just, the detection cones are just so big, so I can't add sneak attack damage to any of this.
I am fury. I am death.
And like I say, there's just no need to waste a lot of action economy on this, because you don't need it. It just takes you time.
There's blood in the air. On the victor's path.
Victory awaits.
Oh, I was hoping Astarion would get that kill there. But it's about time we got a lot of misses. We got a lot of hits earlier in this combat at 50% and less. So it's about time we got around to misses. One thing you don't want to do is get too close. They do have a ranged area AoE vine attack that they can do, but it's really short range. It's like 6 meters or something like that. So you don't want to get too close to the edge. You want to stay back so that they can't AoE you.
Battle favors the fearless.
But other than that, they're just going to sit over there and not do anything. Ian, a critical miss is... I don't know if it's going to say critical miss anywhere. This is a miss. I rolled a 6. I've got +2 proficiency. I've got +3 charisma modifier. I rolled an 11 for my attack roll. The Woodwode's armor class is 18. So that's a miss. A critical miss is here. I rolled a 1. Anytime you roll a 1, you are automatically going to miss no matter what your other modifiers may be. It completely disregards your modifiers. So when it says critical miss, you know you rolled a 1. If you rolled a 20, that's a critical hit, always, no matter what your modifiers are. And it will say critical hit when you do it, and that doubles your damage. In tabletop, there can be, depending upon your DM, negative consequences for rolling a 1 on an attack roll. For instance, if you're using a two-handed axe or something, your DM, after you roll a 1, your DM may say that you swing your axe and you go off balance when you're swinging it and you miss and the axe flies out of your hand and lands 10 feet away from you. And then you have to spend movement speed to go pick it up. Or he may say you slip while you're making your swing and the axe misses the target and it hits your ally next to you and causes 1d6 damage or something like that. Now that's not required, that's up to your DM, but it is in the rule set to allow for negative consequences for critical rolls. This game does not do that. And I think it makes up for it by the fact that in tabletop, a nat 1 and a nat 20 do not do anything on ability checks. A nat 20 is not a guaranteed pass on a sleight of hand check, for instance, and a nat 1 is not an automatic failure. You add those numbers up, you add in your bonuses and multipliers, and see if you pass the check or not. The game adds a nat 20 as an automatic pass on an ability check, which is not in tabletop rules. But they also give you the fact that a 1 is an automatic failure, which again is not in the rules. So I think that's kind of how they balance out the fact that a critical fail on an attack doesn't have any negative consequences here, because they've given us a negative consequence to a crit 1 on our ability checks instead. So I don't necessarily like that they did that in the game here. That's a huge departure from tabletop rules as far as the ability checks go. But without having any negatives to a critical miss, I can also see why they might have come up with some way to balance it out. Exactly. Yeah, exactly like that. Some sort of downside for the fact that you made an attack and it failed so spectacularly that something bad happened. And your DM has all the discretion in the world to make that happen. And again, like I said, he doesn't have to do it. He could just say that a nat 1 is just a miss, and that's it. But he has the options. So now that we finished out, while I was talking and explaining that, we did a couple of searches. We're going to do one more thing here before we call it a day. And you guys got an extra 20 minutes out of me here today. We're going to pick up the letter to Kagha. And we're going to read it. This talks about Kagha being sent a letter from Archdruid Aelis, who is the Archdruid at Cloakwood, which is the Shadow Druid stronghold, that someone named Oladan has been keeping an eye on Kagha and is pleased with what they've been doing, and the fact that once they finish the Rite of Thorns, the Shadow Druids are going to take over the Emerald Grove. So now we have proof of her treachery, and that's going to advance the Investigate Kagha quest. So I think that brings us to a good stopping point. What I'm going to do off stream is just do some inventory management. I'm going to clean up all of my inventory. I'm going to head back to camp and I'm going to sell a couple of things, but I'm not going to be doing any more exploring. And then I'm going to come right back here to this exact same spot and save my game so that we can pick up at this location again next week. I just don't think I need to waste any time going through inventory management on stream with you guys when I can do it at the end here and just come back. But I promise that I will not be doing any more buying of items or talking to anybody or any more exploring. I'm just going to go over there, do that, and then come right back here and we can pick it up at this same spot next time. So, as always, thank you all here, or thank you all for being here today. I love the interactions with my chat. You guys are always great. And without your support, none of this would be possible. So this is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.